Woo! Welcome back to the LaFrance Paradigm. Woo! Welcome back to the LaFrance Paradigm. I'm your host, Robert LaFrance, and here we learn and share strategies for an impact. Okay? Today we're going to be going over how to let go of the past and how to use it to your advantage. What does that mean? Why is it important to let go of our traumatic experiences? And how to do it. This is what we're going to cover in today's video. Check it out. Okay, so what do I mean when I say let go of the past? What is letting go of the past? Well, usually when people talk about letting something go of the past or something like that, we're usually talking about something like a traumatic experience or a negative experience or something that we just can't get over, something that someone did to us, something that we saw, something that we were a part of, some behavior or system that we had no control over, all kinds of things. So I'm just going to throw a blanket statement of how to let go of the past, all right? Because what we're really focusing on is how can we keep moving forward without having these incidents on the back of our brains or the front of our hearts and prevent us from doing the things that we want to be doing, but fear or triggers or this negative experience has created such impact on our RAS, or reticular activating system, where we see triggers and see things of opportunity for this negative experience to come back and bite us again. And so how do we overcome this fear and stuff like that? These incidents, they're keeping you up at night. They are preventing you from having the relationships that you want, the career that you want, taking that step into, whatever it is that you're trying to do in your relationships, in your career, in your finances, in your life experiences. And what can we do? So when we have something that's causing this type of PTSD, this can turn into fear, additional triggers, and even creating those new imprints I talked about for your reticular activating system. And what that is, it's a system in your central nervous system that lets you know that something's important to you. So for example, have you ever bought in a car or bought in a piece of clothing, and then all of a sudden, or know someone who has, and then you start seeing that car or that piece of clothing everywhere? That's what that is. That the RAS is the system in your brain that lets you know that something is important to you and to see it. We've probably heard this before. Success leaves clues. It's the same thing. Success leaving clues is the positive side of the RAS, where we could be talking about a PTSD incident where that is preventing you and getting in the way of your progress. So what we need to do is try to figure out and identify what this actual incident is that happened to us that's preventing and creating this fear and preventing us from going where we want to go, and restructure and rebuild the muscle memory to work for us instead of against us, and recognize new positive important opportunities and the clues that leaves around us. Okay, so if you have anything, whether it's from your marriage or your military career or something that you were involved in when you were a kid and you had no control over, how do we deal with those things and move forward to let go of the anxiety, use it to our advantage, and come stronger on the other side with more confidence and turn our mess into a message? We're going to go over that. Okay, now let's go into why it's important to overcome your past traumatic experiences and use them to your advantage. Let's start off by asking ourselves why. I can say, let's ask ourselves why, because of X, Y, Z. But with this particular instance, this is incredibly personal to you. We're talking about something so serious and so personal to you that it has built this huge rock within you that's been, heavy to carry around, and all the things limiting what you can do, not going into a room, not being around a certain type of person, limiting your experiences, your confidence, all kinds of things, creating this loop of anxiety and worry and stress. So the first thing is to ask yourself, why is this important? And, most times when we ask ourselves questions, the immediate answer is the first thing that pops up in our head. When you're honest and you don't get in the way, the first thing, if you follow your gut, is typically the right answer. Now, if you start to focus in more on that, you'll be able to identify why it's holding you back. For example, for me, being on military bases, let's just do something as simple as that. Military bases, being around them, being on them, and they give me so much anxiety by looking at them and being on them and being around, people that I worked with and stuff like that, it just creates a stupid amount of anxiety for me because it was because of my military experience. Like I have a lot of great stories. I had a great time. I did 7 years as a Navy diver, but during that time, there was a lot of experiences that were out of my control and limited my opportunity, the way that I could behave, just getting in trouble for things that I wasn't even a part of, and all these kinds of things. So whenever I go on base, I just think of all the bullshit I had to go through. And for me to be on base and have and to think about some person speaking to me or yelling at me from a distance about something stupid, I don't even want to put myself in that position again. So it's like, okay, why is this happening to me? And that's why. So how do I overcome that? And that'll be the next step. But for you, it's going to be your own personal why, your own personal instance. And maybe this is something that you've been working on for a while, whether it's with a healthcare professional or your peers or your family, and you're getting closer. But you're almost there. And the more you think about it, the more you put into this as far as why and what's making it happen, why it's important, how you can fix it, you'll be able to take control back and be able to take the right action, make the right decisions that will rewrite how you behave in regards to this particular incident or this experience that you're trying to move forward on and from. So, for example, by narrowing down, that's giving you your natural answer, like I said before, and that begins your processing. This gives us the structure to assess the risks that we need, because all we're doing is assessing risks. We need to do risk assessment no matter what we're doing. But in this particular area, we got burned from not doing the proper risks or not having the ability to control the risks or environment that we're in, right? So once we do that, we're going to be able to reduce that opportunity for it to happen again and rewrite and build that muscle memory. And if we don't, we'll create more anxiety and tension and triggers by avoiding it, and that'll cause us to react versus respond with intentional decisions. Everything that we need to be doing, we need to be doing it with intention and determination and whatever that we're working towards. No matter what we're doing, we're either working towards our goals or getting further away from them. So everything that we need to do it with intent, and particularly in this area, for our mental health, and to let go of something traumatic that's happened to us and use it for our message, or to turn it into a positive and use it to our advantage moving forward. We need to be able to respond anytime that we're in these things and not react. When you react, you're an emotional attachment. You're just, blah, how dare you disrespect me? Or how dare you talk to me that way? Or why did you throw that at me? Or how dare you put it like this when you know it goes like this? Versus taking that moment to collect, show your character, think about who you are and what you're trying to work towards, and responding accordingly, whether it's how you feel it's the right way to do it, or if it's, showing your character and doing the right thing. So this is going to give us the ability to give us unlimited potential. It's not going to limit it by working in this operation anymore. And for you, it could be anything. And this is just one example of, what it could be and how to fix it, so you can apply it to your particular scenario. Okay, how to do it. This is the most important part. And we've kind of touched on the how throughout each segment. This is something that I learned in the Navy, being an instructor, is as we cover something new, always touch back on before and add something new and touch back before. And so it's almost like you're constantly going over the information, so it sticks in your head, and then you learn new things every time you add something. You add one more, you review and go over. It's a great study habit as well. But as we go into this how is incredibly unique to you, and all I can do is provide some questions and some strategies for you to implement in your certain scenario in certain areas of your life, in order for you to find the resolutions to help you benefit in your very unique and personal scenario. So we understand that taking action, massive, relentless action, is going to get us to where we want to go. We understand that. And now this particular area, what type of relentless, determined action do we need to do to make sure that we have a good mental health and stability, and being able to live with less anxiety, less rocks in our pocket, and be able to move forward and live a life of joy and happiness in the pursuit of. So let's go into how do we fix this? Asking, how do I fix this? That immediate response could be the answer. And make sure that it's healthy choices. You don't want to be going down the rabbit hole of some toxic behaviors or being around the toxic people. I mean, I don't have to tell you this. This is something that every kid is taught as they're grown up, whether it's through a movie or their parent. You don't want to be around the wrong people. You're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. And if you're around 5 toxic people and you find yourself in a very toxic, vulnerable state, you shouldn't be around those people, and you should be around positive, healthy people that are going to help you get to where you want to go in life, whether it's a past traumatic incident or just in general. So how can we fix this? And whatever that immediate response is could be the answer, and I encourage you to pursue that in a healthy way to figure out what it is that's going to do that for you. Because whether it's your relationships, or if it's something that bad happened to you when you were a child, or if it's something about your marriage, your personal experience is going to take your personal strength for you to overcome. There's things that happened to me when I was a kid, out of my control, being around adults that weren't, familiar with my family, and things happen to me. And it's like, okay, what do you do with that as you're a teenager, trying to figure yourself out, understand life, turning into an adult, and then, become a parent yourself. There's all these different stages throughout life. Wherever you are in your life, you're experiencing that current stage. But as you grow, if you don't handle your stuff, it's going to reappear down the road in another form. So for example, if and when I was molested when I was a kid, and now I'm a parent, I'm a father to a beautiful daughter, just having a daughter is constantly replaying that negative experience that happened in my life anytime my kid is around someone that I don't know, or she's away from me, or anything like that. So your unique scenario is going to be unique, and it's going to require you to do the proper processing, risk assessment, and asking the appropriate questions for you to identify the answer. And by asking, what is it? Why? What is happening? Why is it important? Or why did this happen? And how can I make it better? And different variations of the questions with those words, the beginning words there, root words, what, why, and how. You're going to be able to you're going to be utilizing your creative thought process, okay? And you're going to be able to reflect on things that have happened to you. It's going to create like an effect, like a domino effect, where one thing is going to lead to another. And if you're anxious, if you have anxiety, you definitely know what this is about, going from one thing to another out of your control. And, how do we take control of that? So asking some of these questions and grounding ourselves to look at this like a strategic plan or a business plan or any type of plan of attack, like a chess game or checkers, is going to give you the ability to overcome these things. And as you ask yourself these questions, you don't have to do it by yourself. It might help you. It might lead you to self-help resolutions, which is great. We have so much power and strength within us to do anything and overcome everything. We literally have billions of connections in the back of our central nervous system in our brain that's created rockets to go into space. Do you know what I mean? Like and do everything from cars to solar powered and hydrocurrent stuff. There's all kinds of things out there that we've created, and we have the ability to create these massive things. We should be able to take care of these tiny gray pieces in between our ears. So it's going to bring you the self-help resolutions, or it's going to bring you to someone who you think can help you. During the time of, when I was going through a rough part of my marriage and contemplating divorce, and the effect that it was going to have on, my family, my relationship, and our children, that brought me to my peers and my family and professionals, social workers, therapists, to make sure that, hey, are these things that my wife is telling me true? Or am I behaving correctly? This is my plan. What are your 2 cents? And it gives you the ability to work with someone who's either a professional or experienced in that area, and allows you to create a third brain. If there's 2 people together working on something, that actually creates a third brain, and it allows you to work on the problem even more. And that's the benefit of, workshops and masterminds and group sessions. However you format, your peer-to-peer support, it's a great opportunity for you to overcome a problem, and asking the right questions, no matter what area of life you're focused in, it's going to help you do that. And it's just going to make you proactive versus reactive. And So as we take this massive action to do anything, through this process of asking the right questions and taking that action, we're going to develop that muscle memory that I talked about to continue overcoming new hurdles and conquer old ones that come up. So this is going to give us the confidence to take these chances, create new imprints on our reticular activating system, and stay committed to ourselves, to yourself and your goals. And this is going to empower you. Now don't get me wrong, this is going to be hard. You know what I mean? Like, but it's the slow steps. It's the slow building of the muscle memory. It's, just like when a baby's learning how to crawl and walk, they don't give up. They don't just say, okay, well, it's not working for me. Not happening, not doing it. You know what I mean? Like a baby is committed to roll over and start crawling and stand up and start walking and then running and then playing catch me. Do you know what I mean? So like if you take that same principle of no, this has to happen, especially for in this category, taking something that happened to us in our past and coming over, and overcoming it, this is going to give you that power, and it's going to empower you in so many other areas of your life. It's going to give you the strength and the confidence to where you're like, no, I'm in control and I can do this. And even when you start to feel like you're losing control, remembering this is going to still keep you empowered and give you the control, and this is going to carry over into other areas of your life, and you're going to see incredible results. And then as this happens, you're going to experience new hurdles and new challenges to test you for your growth. Just like a caterpillar before turning into a butterfly, caterpillars in the cocoon, that stress of the cocoon, during that time, the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, and if you actually assisted that butterfly, if you broke that open, he wouldn't have the strength to fly out and survive out in the wild, or it. So it's really important for us to go through this cocoon phase before we break out of whatever hardship we're experiencing to become this beautiful butterfly, so we can have a wonderful, amazing life that we can enjoy and share with others. So again, if you use these questions and these skills, you're going to be able to let go of past traumatic experiences and be more prepared moving forward. And then what this is going to do by asking these questions and using these strategies and exercises and the answers that come from them, you're going to be able to use them to your advantage by either being empowered, confidence in moving forward, using these strategies in other areas, or being able to share what happened to you during whatever experience and share that with other people who are going through it. For example, in this video, sharing a little bit about what happened to me during my marriage or my childhood, which is, all very common, but all very, complicated and unique to every one of us in our own way. We can now be a resource to other people in our world, in our community that are going through this, and help them get through it together. And that's actually why I'm so pro workshop and pro mastermind, because you can get a lot from watching these videos and listening to my podcast, but where the work's really being done is in our in-person and virtual masterminds, when you're together with multiple people going through the same thing, working in the same direction on something that we choose, and work together as a group. A minute ago I talked about when two people work on something together, you develop a third brain. Imagine working with 10 people trying to make their marriage work for their family, or transition out of the military, or overcome some traumatic experience that they happened as a child. Coming together as a group, working together to collaborate and find the answers and find empowerment and overcome these things to move forward with life, and then help other people do it, is what it's all about. And that's actually what inspired me to do these videos. When I was in the military, I was a teacher, and I saw my career path in the military, and I was experiencing a lot of my hardships as far as, what people thought of me as a person and my character, my work ethic. So I took a really deep dive into personal development and just studied people like Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and Les Brown and Darren Hardy, and just every person that I looked up to as a role model, success, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, just like all these cool people that I wanted to model and, model after, so we can help our community grow together and have a massive positive impact. So I kind of got lost there, but that's what inspired me to do these videos, is that, you know what, I'm going through some bullshit right now, and I would really like to help other people reduce the amount of bullshit that they have to go through in this particular area. And that's why I'm making these videos. I hope these videos are a ton of value to you. I promise they're going to get better. You know, this is something that I'm doing on the side. I have a Patreon link below. I would love nothing more than to do this for you full time, all right? If you want to go ahead and support me in my mission and my cause of empowering veterans and entrepreneurs and fathers to make a massive positive impact in our military and our families and the community around us, check out my Patreon. My name is Robert LaFrance. Thank you for tuning into the LaFrance Paradigm, where we learn and share strategies for an impact. If you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Leave a comment about your particular experience or how this video helped you, or what you're looking forward to next, or if you want us to cover something specific. And as well as, please hit subscribe. Like I said, I work a day job right now. When you hit subscribe, you're going to be alerted every time a new video comes out. I try my best to do them on Wednesdays, but sometimes that doesn't happen because of all these things that I have going on, okay? So please hit subscribe, get alerted when I upload new videos. And then if you want to be a featured guest on the podcast, or if you want to do an interview, go ahead and hit the link below in my description, and I'll send you the link for my Anchor FM guest, or you can comment below or reach out to me on any one of my social media platforms. I'm always looking for guests to share their story and to share their success and to share how they live a life of fulfillment. You know, like I've mentioned before in some of my videos, I know people who are completely happy living a life in an Astro van on a drop zone where people skydive full time. And then I know people who are completely happy living in Silicon Valley, just killing it. You know what I mean? So it's really up to you, your terms and values, and what fulfillment means to you in your life. And I hope I can help you get there. Okay? They say the rising tide is they say the courage is contagious and the rising tide lifts all ships. So help me help you help your friends. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and listening to me for a few minutes. I look forward to you sharing your story and sharing more of mine. Take care.